welcome back to the inner room. Of course, I'm Chris, and I want to talk about something that God has been dealing with me. And honestly, didn't plan it to become an episode, and the conviction was just too clear not to share. Honestly, I've been frustrated, not fake frustrated, real frustrated. The kind of frustration where you care about something, you see how it would and could be better, you know what would help, and every time you encounter it, something inside you tightens up a little bit more. And in my mind, I had good reasons. I wasn't trying to be difficult. I wasn't trying to be negative. I genuinely believe I was trying to help. But then I caught something in myself. I realized I already had this conversation about 10 times in my head. In every version of that conversation, I was calm on the outside, but sharp on the inside. My words were measured, but my spirit wasn't. And that's when I felt this conviction hit me. You may be right about the issue, but you're not ready to talk about it yet. And that bothered me, because my immediate thought was, but if I'm right, why wait? That's when the lesson started forming. Being right doesn't always mean I'm responding right. See, most of us think maturity means we ignore what bothers us. That's not maturity. That's suppression. The goal isn't silence. The goal is alignment. I realized my emotions had already decided the tone of the conversation before the conversation ever happened. I wasn't prepared to understand. I was preparing to release pressure. And to be honest, that's dangerous because you can speak truth, but it's going to be from the wrong spirit. You can say the correct words while carrying the wrong posture. And when that happens, the issue may be real, but the impact becomes harmful. So I started asking myself, why do I feel urgency? Is it wisdom or irritation? Because irritation always wants immediate expression. Wisdom is willing to wait until love can lead the sentence. And I felt God press this into my heart. I was being asked to not address it from that version of me. Because correction given in frustration is rarely received as care. It's received as attack. Even if your facts are accurate, your spirit interprets your message louder than your words do. Sometimes we think we're defending excellence when really we're defending preference wrapped in conviction. That was hard for me to admit because I don't like the idea that my emotions can hijack my intentions. But they can. You can be completely correct, but also be completely wrong in delivery. So here's what I'm learning. God is less concerned with proving I'm right and more concerned with who I become while I hold that belief. Because being right feeds the mind, responding right forms the heart, and God develops hearts more than arguments. Sometimes we want God to fix the situation, but God wants to shape the spirit we bring into that situation. I wanted resolution. God wanted formation. And those are not always on the same timeline. There's a difference between addressing something and reacting to something. Reaction relieves emotions. Response requires maturity. Reaction is fast. Response is prepared. Reaction speaks to release tension. Response speaks to build understanding. So, I gave myself 4 questions before having a hard conversation. And honestly, these questions exposed my inner feelings, my heart. First question now is, can I say this calmly? Not controlled, calm. Because control means I'm holding anger back. Calm means anger isn't leading anymore. Delay is not avoidance. Delay is preparation. The second question I had was, do I want understanding or victory? If I want to win the conversation, I'm not going in with love. I'm going in with the ego-wearing righteousness. Third question was, if someone said this to me in the tone I'm about to use, would I feel safe? Not convinced. Safe. Because people rarely receive truth from someone who feels emotionally unsafe. Fourth question that I had, have I prayed more than I rehearsed? Because if I spent more time imagining an argument than surrendering my heart, I'm not seeking peace. I'm seeking permission to release frustration. So, here's where I landed. I'm still going to have the conversation. But now I don't feel the pressure to have it immediately. Because the goal isn't just to say something is true. The goal is to say something helpful. And helpful words requires a healed posture. I didn't need to bury my concern. I needed to prepare my spirit. And sometimes growth is God teaching you how to carry a gentle spirit inside tension. And I think a lot of conflict in our lives, whether it's marriages, friendships, churches, leadership, will look different if we just ask one question before we spoke. Not, am I right? But, am I ready to respond right? Because you can win the point and still damage the relationship. Or you can mature the spirit and protect both. Sometimes spiritual growth isn't God changing the situation. It's God changing the spirit you bring into it. And that's how we work the inner room to prepare for out there. Peace.